Welcome to Living in Beauty. It's Thursday, November 17th, 2016, in sunny and warm Conehatta, Mississippi. Population 1,342. Well, fair weather didn't stop them from closing down the campground and turning off the lights behind us on the Kentucky Bourbon Trail a few weeks ago. On our way south, we stopped at Jim Beam Distillery to pay our respects. Now, we're taking a break on Carmen's family homestead, taking long walks in the country and enjoying the nighttime swamp songs of frogs, crickets, and critters. A contemplative sound that, when combined with the supermoon, inspires us to muse about what got us here and wonder about the road ahead. It's kind of wild how full-time travel brings up snapshot memories of people, places, and past events. As we continue on this drive-about in our Airstream, we're learning to follow our instincts. Sometimes a signal comes out of nowhere, and if we pay attention, then the road we're looking for mysteriously opens before us. Come on, let me take you for a little trip down memory lane. When I was 19, the booking agent for my entertainment business called me about a rather peculiar client request for a job. No, it wasn't a magic show for a 1,000-plus convention audience with large illusions, or even a cozy tabletop sleight-of-a-hand gig for a swanky cocktail party at Rancho Santa Fe. It was for a skilled acting job involving a bit of misdirection for a single client in his office. I was intrigued, and since I was thinking about getting married and moving out of my parents' house, I needed to accept almost every opportunity, so I requested the details. I was to pose as a starry-eyed, recent benefactor of a rich uncle's fortune looking for a place to invest my new wealth. The ruse had me call and schedule an appointment with a certain commercial developer, indicating my desire to invest a considerable amount of money into a solid real estate venture. The client intended this to be a practical joke on his friend and business associate. Assured the shenanigan would be harmless, I accepted the job. A few weeks later, after being coached by the client on exactly what he wanted me to do, I dressed in my best suit and drove to Mission Valley. Expecting my arrival, the receptionist graciously showed me into the office. The developer greeted me, shook my hand, and as he returned to his desk, he offered me a chair. I carefully placed my attaché on the floor and took a seat. As rehearsed, I told him the details about my recent windfall, and then created an excuse to fetch something from my attaché, out of his line of sight. The moments passed. At first, it was one, then two, then more, many more. It didn't take long because the shades were pulled open to the bright San Diego sunshine. Shortly, several thousand coccinolids, better known as ladybugs, that were contained in my attaché were released to swarm throughout the office, landing in hair, coffee cups, chairs, desktops, window blinds, everywhere. As the developer and my client regularly played jokes like this on each other, he quickly realized what was happening, laughed about being caught off guard, and politely excused me from the mayhem taking place in his office. Later, the client told me that the commercial developer was almost evicted from his office since the ladybugs infested the central air conditioning system and would drop out en masse throughout the building for several days following the event. That client who hired me was John Bradley, one of the owners and managers of the Love's Woodpit Barbecue restaurants in San Diego County, whose slogan was, "When you're in Love's, the whole world's delicious." A few weeks before I retired, I was reminded of John Bradley as Carmen and I digitally scanned thousands of old photographs and memorabilia and saw two images from Love's barbecue advertisements from the mid-1970s. You see, after the practical joke, John and I became friends. And a few months later, he hired me to perform table-to-table close-up magic at all 6 Love's Woodpit Barbecue San Diego County restaurants for almost 3 years, from 1974 to to 1976. Back then, I worked 7 nights a week, traveling to the various Love's locations to spend a few hours at each restaurant entertaining diners. And as a side note, the only reason I've had a beard since I was 19 years old is so I could look older while performing magic in the bar area of the restaurant. Not having seen or spoken to John since 1976 when I was 22, I wondered where he might be. So I began searching for him on Facebook. And when I thought I might have found him, I sent a Facebook message to John on the day I retired, July 1, 2016. But weeks passed and nothing came of it. But then in August, while we were staying in Lake Tahoe, John responded to the Facebook message. I'd found him. We messaged back and forth, and he said we should get together when he came through San Diego in a few months. I told him how I'd left San Diego in July and was now traveling full-time in our Airstream and was currently camping near him in Lake Tahoe. We arranged lunch at a great sushi place and spent a long afternoon catching up. What a great time, talking about the 1970s, Love's barbecue, the Ladybug practical joke, our lives, loves, journeys, and we made plans to stay in touch from now on. I tip my hat to John Bradley, a man I have admired since I met him in 1974, who gave me a chance at success by believing in me and hiring me for one of the most exciting jobs in my life when I was only 19 years old. His letter of recommendation in 1976, handed to my banker at age 21, was the reason San Diego Trust and Savings gave Carmen and me a 30-year mortgage on our first home. A 21-year-old entertainer given a 30-year mortgage? Unheard of at the time. John, thank you. And thank you for joining us at Living in Beauty. Special thanks this week goes to my father-in-law, Alan Perry. He has done so much to help us get on the road. And just yesterday, he helped me do a conversion on my gas generator so it would run not only on gasoline, but propane or natural gas. Thanks, Alan. You're our wandering star.